All right, I think we're good. So let's see. I don't think we got anybody in the live stream. If you guys can hear me and you can see the screen share, please let me know. But yeah, I guess this will be part 2 of today's live stream. All right, we're good. We're good. Thank you guys for letting me know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happened, and that was as I said. Oh, if I stop this broadcast, it's probably going to end it, and I didn't even end it. So that's just the weirdest thing. And I was like, all right, I just ended. But yeah, that's weird. Yeah, this hasn't really happened in a very long time. When I was live streaming with my 10-year-old MacBook Pro, or not exactly 10 years, but close to it. Yeah, I was having these issues, but I haven't had these issues ever since I got a new setup. You should have wrote black screen. Yeah, you jinxed my screen. Sounds clear. All right, good. All right, I kind of forget what I was talking about, but OMG is still looking pretty healthy. It's still maintaining that $11 as long as it maintains that 11 and doesn't drop to that 10, which that 10 is the 200-day moving average, which it shouldn't really be the 200-day moving average. That the 100-day should be below or on top of the 200. So I don't really like the fact that the 100-day moving average price is lower than the 200-day moving average price. It should be the other way around. So that's probably the one thing I don't like about this, and that's on a 30-minute time frame. And I usually jump back and forth between the 15 and the 30-minute time frame. But 30-minute time frame, 200-day moving average is way, way below the 100-day moving average. The 100 days right around the 1075. So, it's still looking healthy. It is, and it looks like on the 15-minute chart, it's really trending with the 100-day moving average. That's really what it looks like it's trending. And if we can see, some of these little minor corrections that it's having these corrections right up to or close to that 200-day moving average. So I'm sorry, the 100-day moving average. So that's pretty solid. And as long as it can just channel with that 100-day moving average, we're still in the clear. So 100-day moving average, just $11 basically, a little over 11, not even 11.01, and the current price 11.06. So it's pretty solid, pretty healthy on the 15 minutes. Like I said, as long as it can, trend along, on top of the 100-day moving average. Do I use a cold wallet for my cryptocurrency? I do not. I do not. I need to get one. But what would I recommend? I mean, you got the Ledger Nano S or Ledger Nano, Nano S. Trezor. Trezor is probably the one I would get, to be honest with you. And I almost bought one too. Well, actually, I almost bought the bundle pack, the 3, because it was cheaper. And that was directly from Trezor. It wasn't from Amazon. Amazon, you're gonna pay an arm and a leg for it. You're gonna pay a markup. Especially when everybody was trying to get them right before the fork. It was tough to buy them. But yeah, Trezor is really what I would recommend. Now I did go ahead and set up a My Ether wallet address or My Ether wallet, and that's kind of where I'm in control of the private keys. Where Coinbase is not in control of those private keys for me. So I did move a little bit of Ether out into My Ether wallet, where like I said, I'm in control of those private keys. Nobody else has those private keys. So as long as they don't get hacked, I mean, if they get hacked, then that's a whole different story. But at least I'm the one that knows those private keys and nobody else. But let's see, what else is moving today? BCH did touch that 470. I'm still not interested in BCH at this current time. I would like to buy it cheaper. If it breaks under 4, I would look into considering it, but it would need to break under 4, and I don't think it's going to do it anytime soon. Not at all. And this is what I'd like to see, especially on a nice upward move, and especially if I'm looking to kind of, for bigger profits later on down the road, this is exactly what I want to see. I want to see the 200-day below the 100-day, 100 days below the 50, and then the 50s below the 21, and the 21s below the 9. So that's a perfect setup for it to have a nice push up to the upside. But yeah, the further apart that these get from each other, the more bloated that they normally are, and they do have a correction. So I would like to see these get a little more tighter, for a nice sustained push to the upside. But yeah, this might be getting a little over bloated considering the gaps that we are having between the moving averages. The 200-day moving average is at 530 and it's at almost 630, so that's $100 difference. So she needs to come back and correct, and she might come back and correct down to the 50 or the 100-day moving average. But yeah, I usually don't like to see, unless I'm looking to get out. But if I'm looking to hold long term, I don't want to see these spread out too far apart from each other. I would rather see them kind of close with each other, but still grinding to the upside. Let's see what you're saying. Yebuds, welcome, by the way. Craig Wright has a Twitter now. I think Craig Wright was the guy that claimed to be Satoshi Nakamoto. I haven't read about it in a long time, but I think his name was Craig. I don't remember if the last name was right. But yeah, guy from Australia claiming to be Satoshi Nakamoto, but not really having proof. I mean, really the only proof that anybody could ever have of being Satoshi Nakamoto is to move those coins that have been sitting there. And if you can't move those coins, then you're not Satoshi Nakamoto. You could write any paper, you could, do crazy news interviews and say that you're Satoshi Nakamoto and talk about, the ins and outs of Bitcoin. Dude, unless you can move those coins, you're not Satoshi. So I don't know if he's still saying that he is Satoshi, but yeah, he's not Satoshi. Then yeah, he's got to move those coins. That's the only way to say I'm Satoshi and move those coins. Why would he come out and say that he's Satoshi if he's not going to move those coins to prove that he's Satoshi? Yeah, Satoshi's not going to come out. He's not coming out. Did I buy during the crash? Yeah, I had a low ball offer in, well, what I thought was low ball for OMG, $9. And I kind of forgot that I had that order in the book. And then I woke up and I was like, all right, it dropped to 733. I forgot about that $9 order. But no, it's still doing pretty well. It's solid. As long as, like I said, she can stay at that $11. She's still looking good. And I mean, and so is BCH as well too. And I do like this move that it's making from 470 to almost 630. But yeah, I just don't like the spread on the 15 minutes. But yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at Crypto Watch, because really everything broke out of that trend that I talked about yesterday. And I think I was looking at, I think it was GDAX. So this is kind of what we were looking at yesterday, the trend that it was playing within those trends. And of course, she completely broke out of those trends, which is a very solid, healthy momentum growth. So, we are going to have new trend, currently right now for this day, she's basically trending within, the 75 and 81, looks like maybe 81.50-ish. That's the current trend today. So, if she does decide to break out of that trend, then that's great. If not, then, she could channel this trend. She really could. So that trend from 75 to 80, 81-ish, 81.50-ish could be the possible trend. Now, it is a very, it's not a large trend. It's not an $8 to $10 type of trend. But, it seems like, she is going to consolidate within that trend possibly, unless she has a breakout. And if she breaks out, then you have resistance at 84, 88, let's just say $85. That's going to be the resistance that she's going to have to break out above it. But yeah, 98.28 was the high, and that's just a very solid move, but it's just not something that's going to be sustained. It's too high, too fast, too quick. And as you can see, our moving averages are just completely separated from each other. I mean, the 200-day moving average, when this thing was really peaking at 98, a 200-day moving average was sitting right around 67 bucks. I mean, that's a huge difference between, where she should be, between the 100, I would say, and the 200-day moving average. That's really where, to have a nice sustained growth to the upside and not have these crazy dips, that's really where she needs to be. But, the news out of China didn't really help, but it shouldn't have affected Litecoin at all. It really should not have affected Litecoin. More than likely, Litecoin should have gone up higher with the news out of China. But yeah, on a longer time frame, I mean, yeah, this is just a little hiccup. That's all it is. It's nothing big. Even though the drop, from 98 to 64, I mean, that's pretty significant. $34 worth of gains that it gave back, but it went up so high, way too fast, way too quick. And we know when something goes up too high, too fast, too quick, you got to lock in those profits because it's going to come back down. It's just a matter of trying to figure out exactly, okay, where is she going to come back down to? And when she came back down, if you were looking at this chart, really just kind of like the overall chart, on a larger time frame, you would have probably seen that, it should have some sort of a good support. And this is if you're being greedy with your entry, if you're being very conservative with your entry and you're trying to bottom fish, basically, you would have seen that, in this area here, this was really the area where she consolidated for a good period of time before really taking off and running. And running from that, basically 65-ish, under 65, all the way to 98 bucks. I mean, that's a huge, huge jump within a very short period of time. So if you were patient with it and kind of waited, then, that's really the level that she tested. She tested, let's see what this candlestick was. I think it was a little under 65 bucks. 64 bucks on GDAX. 64 bucks is basically what she tested, which would have been a major, major support area, considering that period of time that, she consolidated and moved sideways. That's an area that, if I was looking at this, that's an area that I would have waited for. But yeah, that's why it's very helpful to kind of look at the overall chart. Now, if she would have broken that, if she would have broken the 65, I mean, there was the 50 would have been the good support. That would have been the other support that I would have looked at. And that 50 is very crucial, due to what's happened in the past. How many times, did she stay underneath it? How many times did she get rejected from breaking out? And if she did break out, did she get rejected right back down to that $50 level? And you can see numerous times that she has, she broke out above the 50, came right back down, attempted to completely break out, got pushed back down. And then that 50 just became a very solid resistance. There was somebody, somehow, some way preventing this thing from getting up, and start breaking all-time highs. And she proved to us right over here where she retested that $50. I think it was like 49.98 is what she got to, completely broke down. And then when she finally breaks out, this is the type of breakouts that I like to see above that resistance. So prior resistance became current support due to this complete breakout here with this large volume that came in with a massive candle. Now, if she would have just broke above it a little bit, yeah, she would have gotten pushed back down heavily. And when I mean heavily, maybe, $4 to $5, she would have gotten pushed back down. But considering she broke out of it with a vengeance and, the bulls basically took control, that's going to be the support. That is a support. And when she did come back down, from that big push that she had, and that's why it's always wait, if you see something going up so high, wait for it to have a pullback. They are going to have a pullback. And when they have that pullback, where does she pull back down to? $50. That is a support for it. Prior resistance has become the current support, considering she broke out of it with a vengeance. And those are the type of breaks that I like to see above a key level of resistance. And if you're going to have this type of break over that key level of resistance, then that's a new support. And that's the entry that I would be looking for, to possibly either have it consolidate or have it push up to the upside. And she could consolidate for an extended period of time. So these are 4-hour price action movements, 4-hour candles. So we have basically, let's see. That's right around 2 days worth. Almost 2 days worth, a little less than 2 days worth of continuously just consolidating above that 50. And that's just a strong, strong support. for it. So she's got two areas of really good support if she does decide to break down, and that's going to be the 65 and then the 50. And for it to really go from 65 to 50, there's got to be some crazy things, some major things that are happening within Litecoin and the cryptocurrency market. But that's also going to be the area that she possibly could touch and then consolidate within that range there. And that range is 55 to 50. So, and if we look at our 200-day moving average on the 4-hour candlestick, our 200-day moving average is right around 54.50. So if she does have a tumble, that's really an area that she could come back down to, an area of support. But if she completely breaks down below it, and I don't see that really happening, to be honest with you, if she does have a breakdown, that breakdown should not go below $50. So $50 for me, it's a great entry, and that's probably what I would put before going to bed, an entry at. Now, if I'm watching it, I'm probably not going to have an entry at $50 unless it gets close to that price. But if I'm sleeping for 6-7 hours, then that's an entry that I would be kind of looking for in the hopes that it gets there. And they do have these violent dips, when everybody's sleeping, and you could actually wake up with an entry. What comes up must go down. Indeed, dude, it does. It's logic. Nothing keeps going up and up and up and up and up without a major correction. I don't mind having something going up and then correcting, consolidating, giving back some of its gains, and then going up, coming back down maybe 30% of the gains that it took. That's a healthy growth. 58 billion overall now. Okay, 158 billion. Yeah, but we got to remember too, crypto never sleeps. Welcome. That the top three, control majority of this market cap. 120 billion, with Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Bitcoin Cash. Those three are controlling $120 billion worth of that market cap. And I didn't even add Ripple to it. I didn't even add Litecoin to it. So imagine just adding those five. I mean, I wouldn't add Litecoin or I wouldn't add Ripple to it. But yeah, it's a lot of a market cap that's really controlled by very few coins. Lock in those profits when you can. That's trading. That's trading. I mean, if you're an investor, yeah, you're going to hold it long term. You're not going to really care about these dips because it just keeps coming right back up. But yeah, if you're looking to capitalize, off the profit and then buy back on the dip, you got to lock in those profits and be happy with them. Like I've said it before, you got to be happy, with a profit that you take. Yes, it could go up higher, but if you're not happy with it, then you're never going to be happy with any profits that you take. Pound that like button. Yes, SkyTech. Thank you for typing that out. Yeah, if you do find this information helpful, pound that like button. And if you're a new time viewer finding this channel, welcome. Thank you for finding us. It's a pleasure to have you here. And definitely become a regular. Pound that like button, pound that subscribe button. Click on the post notifications. Stay connected with us on Twitter, Facebook, as well as Steemit. And if you guys have Steemit, help us out, upvote our video. We do upload these videos to Steemit. Actually, it should be simultaneous live streaming this on Steemit as well too. But yeah, let me know what coin you want to look at. So the first person that kind of notifies me of a coin, I'll go ahead and take a look at it. FNBTC broke the bullish trend. Let me look at it. It all depends too what exchange you're looking at, but let's go ahead and take a look at BTC. I mean, it's at 45.32, and the price are actually pretty similar in comparison to Coinbase. Where we had a big difference in the past with Bitcoin and Litecoin. A great opportunity for arbitrage if you're able to take advantage of it. But I think now the prices kind of they're mirroring each other. 79, 77 for Litecoin. For BTC, let's see, 45.31, 46.40. So $110 of a difference. What's that? 327 versus 329. Very similar. But yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at BTC on. We'll take a look at it on Bitfinex. Sidecoin, yes, I will look at Sidecoin. So you're saying it broke the bullish trend, or you're saying it broke the bearish trend? And I mean, you got to remember too, if we're looking at this on a larger time frame, yeah, dude, this is still a bullish movement. Still is. You got to get very granular to kind of see the bearish trend. And I mean, on 15 minutes, definitely not. Or unless you're saying it broke the bearish trend. If it broke the bearish, if you're saying it broke the bearish trend, then yes, definitely, but not the bullish trend. I mean, even on the 5 minutes, yeah, dude, this is still, from the low that it touched of 3,900, this is still a very bullish price action movement. Very bullish, indeed, 100%, 100%. That's a nice move, and I know some of you guys caught this thing at $4,000. And that's perfect. I mean, that's a great opportunity. If anybody caught this at 3,900, 3,910, let me know, man, because you'd be the lucky winner. You would definitely be the lucky winner. And I think, I would give you a one-on-one. If you caught this thing at 3,910 and you caught the bear bottom, you got a half hour of my time on a one-on-one call. But you got to prove it too. So, you got to show me the order that was executed at 3,910 cents. Yeah, dude, I'll definitely give you a virtual high five. So let's see. Decreed. Man, I haven't looked at Decreed in a very long time. Yeah, dude, this is a bullish movement. From its low, it's a bullish movement. And really, even if you zoom out of the chart, it's still a bullish movement. Definitely bullish trend indeed. Okay, so let's see, Sidecoin. Secure zone. So are you in Sidecoin? Ark, you didn't get 39.10. I would have thought you would have got 39.10. Let's see, Sidecoin. I forget the ticker symbol. SC, the right one. So Sidecoin, cloud storage. Yeah, this is it. What's I forget the total supply, all that crazy stuff. So you're mining it. Sweet. Are you also mining, I don't know, like storage? You can mine storage as well too. I don't know what's better though. I don't know if Sidecoin is better or storage is better. $29 billion circulating supply. No max supply. Oof. I don't know. I mean, Sidecoin is going to have competition. It's not the only one in this market that's doing what it's doing. So you got, well, I don't know what's happening with Filecoin, but Filecoin is another cloud storage, decentralized, encrypted as well too. Storage is the same exact thing. But man, this is ugly. This is ugly. Wow. I mean, probably a good time to farm it. Considering it's so low. But yeah, I don't know if I would throw money at this. I think farming this thing is probably the best way to go. I mean, even though she is showing signs of being of leveling out, but she's leveling out at the bare bottom. I don't know the fundamentals behind this thing, but it's got competition. It's got competition with storage. It's got competition with Filecoin, and it's probably I don't know what else. What other competition is out there for it? I'm sure there are a couple other cloud storage type of coins. 138 was a low. Wow. Yeah, this thing has been beat down. It has been beat down to the ground. I mean, if you're looking to build a portfolio of altcoins, and you're just looking maybe to throw I don't know, 1% or 2% of your capital, then yeah, I mean it's at the bare bottom, but it could stay at the bare bottom for an extended period of time. before having a nice pop up. But I think it found a bottom. I really do think it found a bottom. But I don't know if I would be throwing my money at it. But if you feel lucky and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna build a portfolio with 10 coins that are dirt cheap and that hit bare bottom, and you want to really have a diversified portfolio, yeah, I would throw this in there. I mean, that's not really the strategy that I'm looking to go for, to have 10 coins that have been beat down. But if that was a strategy that I was looking for to build that portfolio, yeah, SC would definitely be one of them, considering it's gotten beat down. This is the lowest low. This is the lowest ever been. I mean, even the low when it got listed was 382 satoshis. Yeah, this is low. This is low. I mean, it definitely piques my interest in the sense that it's hit bare bottom. And if I was really looking for, crap coins, or I shouldn't call it crap coins, so I do apologize. But if I was looking for, undervalued coins that have hit bare bottom, and I'm looking for long-term hold, then yeah, I think this would be one of them. You're mining Burst and ETH. Yeah, dude, I would heavily focus on ETH. Heavily focus on mining ETH. But yeah, there is just competition. That's the thing with SC. Komodo. Ah, man. Yeah, I looked at Komodo in the past because a while back you could trade your Bitcoin dark, and there was a 50-to-1, so you can basically get 50 Komodo coins for one BTCD Bitcoin dark. And Bitcoin dark at that time was running. It was zero point zero 0.01, I think. I think it was like under 0.01. And when I was really reading into it, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I was like, maybe people will buy Bitcoin dark to exchange it for Komodo. And it ran up to 0.05, I think. But yeah, so Komodo and Bitcoin dark do go kind of hand in hand. But yeah, man, Sidecoin, wow. I didn't think it got beat down this low. So I don't know what the major announcement is. Let's see, Komodo. No cloud mining for me. Not at all. Wow, and Komodo was at 50 cents back then too. 50 cents. And I think that exchange was still happening up to 2018, something to that extent. I don't know if it's still going to be on here. Let's see if there's any announcements. I don't know though. I would be a little leery of this. I mean, they're advertising a major announcement and having a countdown to this major announcement. Are they trying to pump the price up? Are they trying to get people to buy the rumor and then sell the news? They should have just said, major conference, or Komodo attending major conference and then have the countdown to it. Or, but yeah, major announcement. It better be big. It better be big, or people are not gonna like it. But yeah, I don't know if that exchange is still going on with Bitcoin Dark. I'd have to dig. So let's see. Yeah, I don't think they're still doing it. So they're saying we could say that, Bitcoin Dark or BTCD becomes Komodo, but technically BTCD chain will remain intact. But yeah, this is, man, months and months and months ago. That was a long time ago when I read this. But yeah, so, when Komodo goes up, and that should also take BTC, Bitcoin Dark, up. And let's take a look at the price action to see if they're both going up. Yeah, if one's going up, the other should be going up as well, too. Komodo is up 22%. BTCD is up 22%. So yeah, you'll see them kind of go hand in hand. Not this exact same percentage, but if one is up, the other one's going to be up as well too. If one is down, the other one will be down. So, definitely keep an eye out on that price action, but they will have the same type of movement. Then I missed the countdown. What did I miss the countdown on? 1, 2, 3. Not it. Laughing out loud. Was it not it for? Oh, for for asking for a coin for me to look at. Is that what that's for? 1, 2, 3. Not it. Yeah, cloud mining. Unless you've been doing it for a very long time and you've actually, gotten tons of referrals and use your profits to increase your hashing power. Yeah, that's really the only way. But starting out now, without the referrals, it'll be tough. You'd be putting a lot of money into it. So I don't know if the ROI, return on investment, would be there. I don't know if you'd be better, buying the equipment yourself slowly but surely over time to start mining. Could that be more profitable? Because then you actually own the hardware, and if it doesn't work out for you, you could actually sell the hardware and get your money back. As to where if you spend money on the hashing power and it doesn't work out for you, I don't think you can sell your hashing power. Okay, is that what it is? So the Bitcoin Dark development team moved to focus on Komodo. Interesting. I don't know who that is. Crypto Nick is about the biggest earner in crypto. What is he the biggest earner in? I don't know who that is, so I haven't really watched any of his channel if he is on YouTube. Litecoin is still looking good as well too. It's still looking good. I mean, every cryptocurrency is going to have a nice movement, from that bottom that it hit. So if you guys were able to capitalize on that bottom, then yeah, you're sitting pretty well until the tide decides to turn. So hopefully, this weekend shouldn't be too traumatizing on this cryptocurrency market, unless China, throws another right hook or throws a combination with the left and the right. That's the only way that we're going to see some sort of a downtrend, but it's shaking it off. It is shaking it off. Oh, and cloud mining. He's a YouTuber, 17 years old with a lot of referrals. Wow. Yeah, I don't want to push any referrals on anybody. I could easily make this channel all about referrals, but that's not what I'm all about. Yes, I do have the referral for Coinbase on there as well as Amazon, but I rarely talk about them. But yeah, this channel will not be all about referrals. Then basically I'm trying to get something out of you guys, and that's not what I'm looking to do. I'm looking to help you guys, and if you find this information helpful, that's great. Pound that like button. If you don't, you could easily find a different channel that will only talk about referrals and get you to sign up through their referral program so that they could actually benefit from you. Really, I do this for fun. I do this for fun. Yeah, I need to get a little granular on this OMG, but this isn't looking too bad at all. It's maintaining that $11, and that's a crucial level that I'm looking for it to maintain. If this thing starts moving where our 200-day moving average dips below that's 100, and this is on a 5-minute chart, this thing is gonna hit that 12 bucks easily. But we need this 50-day moving average to move down. And that's usually when you get these parabolic moves, is that when the moving average is just basically aligned with a wide separation between them. Right now, it's trying to find direction, which way it wants to go. The moving averages really don't know. Oh, dude, that's awesome. Deep web, yeah. I'm glad you watched it. Smart guy, man. He's a smart guy. He was a former Penn State University, which that's kind of where I'm located, computer scientist or computer science engineer. He came up here for grad school. Smart guy. If he would have used his talents for something productive, he really created the next, Amazon, the next Google, or I'm sorry, the next Amazon, the next eBay. If he would have used it for something good. But no, smart guy. Just got caught up in the wrong stuff. But yeah, the dark web is interesting. It is interesting. Yeah, and that's really when I kind of started hearing about it, about Bitcoin. It was prior to that, just like maybe a week or so prior to it, I ended up hearing about it. All right, 1132 is good. So she's got to get over 1138. 1138 was basically, and this is a 5-minute chart. So I mean, we're getting very granular on this, and really, I would only be looking at the 5 minutes and the 1 minute, possibly the 3 minutes, if I'm looking to get out of my position. But yeah, as long as she breaks out above 1138, then yeah, it could be smooth sailing to close to that 1175-ish. But there's got to be volume to back it up, and there's a lot more selling than buyers. If it's a real wall that some of these guys are putting up, 35,000 at 1142. Wait, let's see what's going on today. At about 18 minutes. All right, that's funny. Yeah, will the real Dread Pirate Robbers please stand up? Yeah, he is. He's from that area, but yeah, he was up here. I think it was for like a year or so, maybe 2 years. He was up here. Let's see if there's any FUD that's being spread out of China. Litecoin retreats from all-time highs, but is 100 in reach. Definitely. She could definitely get to 100. And I'm surprised. I was very surprised that she didn't on Coinbase. She should have touched that 100. Just as a psychological level and be like, yeah, I can get there. I touched it. Yeah, I'm going to retrace because that's what we do. I mean, we go up so high, we're going to retrace. We'll give other people opportunity to buy in, and allow the chasers to kind of get burned and panic and get shaken out of their position. Oh, you know what? There was something. Let me try to find it. And I forgot to kind of share this with you guys. Protostar, that's what it was. Protostar. So this is on Forbes, and it's not the SEC really shutting down ICOs, but this ICO was basically, I don't know, I'll continue the article. This ICO, Protostar, was basically contacted by the SEC. And that's all really that happened. They were just contacted by this SEC, asking for clarification But they got basically shaken out and decided that, they didn't really raise that much money. Let me see from what I can remember. They raised like 140 something thousand. It wasn't much of it that was raised. But yeah, they basically said, you know what, this is ridiculous. We're not going to fight it. We're very small. We don't have the lawyers. We're going to go ahead and refund everybody's money. So the SEC basically kind of shook them out and said all they were requesting was just basically information. Let's see what type of information they were requesting. So reached by phone, Chief Executive Joshua Gibson said on August 24th, the SEC investigators called and asked me to volunteer a bunch of information about the company. They gave me a quick little brief. They're both federal investigators. Anything I say has to be truthful or honest. I could be prosecuted for providing false information. A bunch of stuff like that was basically said to him. And he said, I would like to be open with you guys, but this is something like I should get a lawyer kind of conversation. But yeah, I don't think they wanted to get a lawyer. I don't think they wanted to fight it. They were very small. And I think that's kind of what he stated. See if I can find his comment. I can't find his comment. Let's see. Yeah, I can't find his comment on here. But yeah, he basically said, you know what, it's not worth it for us. We're too small. There's no need for us to fight this thing. So we're just going to go ahead and refund everybody's money and close up shop and get out. So yeah, only, let's see, about 47,000 was what they raised. So it's a very small ICO, very small. They didn't raise that much money at all. And basically, after consulting with multiple lawyers, they've decided to cease further operations and refund Ethereum collected in their crowd sale that began on August 13th. So that's a lot of fear that they had. And all they did was just basically request some information about the company. That's all that they did. But yeah, and I didn't see this and this was September 1st, until somehow, some way this kind of popped up. And I was like, whoa, what is this? I didn't hear about this. But yeah, that was pretty crazy. And I don't know if any of you guys heard about it, but so I guess all the SEC has to do is just contact these little no-name, coins that are not raising much and saying, hey, we just need information. And they could panic out and say, you know what, this isn't worth it at all. We're going to just give everybody back their money and we're going to go on our merry way and not be involved in this. Because usually, first one through the door kind of gets shot. They don't want to be the first one through the door to try to fight the SEC and get shot, especially considering they only raised 47,000. All right, I'm hoping the audio's still good. But let's see, I got a couple more minutes left. All right, it's pulling back. So let's see, what is this, a 5-minute chart from 1040. Did it even break that 1048? No, it did not. I'm sorry, it was 1038 that I said it had a break. And it did break the 1030 or 1138. I'm sorry, 1138, it broke it. Yeah, a little bit of a pullback. But no, I'm still excited about OMG. I really am still excited about it. Even if I would have gotten it at $10, I would have been excited about this, considering the move that it has made. And, it's not really phased by what's really going to be happening in China. This is looking good. This is definitely looking good. And it's going to have little minor pullbacks, but I'm going to have strong hands in this position. But I'll definitely be selling a little bit at 1250 and then start selling in increments of 5 as it's going up. All right, I probably have time to take a look at one more coin if you guys want me to take a look at a coin. Let's take a look at the competition to Sidecoin. Storage would be the competition for it. Let's see if the chart for storage looks exactly the same as Sidecoin. Nav? Yeah, dude, I can look at Nav anytime. And Rocky, you got my number, so like I said, I owe you that one-on-one. So if Friday's when you want to do it, that's perfect. If not, hey man, I'm available whenever you want to. All right, maybe a larger time frame on this. But yeah, I'll take a look at NAV before I end the live stream. Yes, iCoin looks exact. I'm sorry, storage looks exactly the same. Will it touch that 10,000 level? Yeah, you know, honestly, this, in my opinion, this might be the time to start looking at these. And of course, you got to pick what you think is going to be the best one to survive out of all of them. But yeah, cloud storage, that seems to be I don't know any other cloud storage that are out there. So if you do, let me know. I'll take a look at the chart. But I mean, this is 2 out of 2 so far that are basically have gotten beat down over the long period of time. They've definitely gotten beat down. And, you know, usually when, you know, one sector, one type of coin that does this, well, not one type of coin, but, you know, a collection of coins that do the exact same thing and they've been beat down and beat down. Eventually they do make a pop, but, you know, which one will make a pop and which one will not, you know, you got to have to determine about, you know, which one has really the backing of the community and also has a great development team. And then that's the one that you would pick. But yeah, they both look the same. So secure zone. So, I mean, you like Sidecoin, but so what about storage? I mean, they do the exact same thing. So which one's better? Birch is not a cloud storage, but let's take a look at Birch real quick. Yeah, this hit bottom mid-August. And of course, I mean, this has been listed for a lot longer than storage or Sidecoin. But really, I mean, if we look at this, you know, it's basically bottomed out. I mean, especially depending, you know, if you're looking at the chart from here, you know, it looks just exactly like storage, exactly like Sidecoin, bottom out, and then, you know, I mean, it looks like a nice pop that it's having. It's a nice curve to the upside, and I do like how symmetrical this curve is. I really do like this symmetrical curve. I wonder if I can draw on this. I can't draw on it. Definitely cracked a lot of levels. A lot of levels. But yeah, but I you know, and this is kind of what I look for patterns. You know, how symmetrical is the pattern? And this pattern, you know, after it bottomed out, is very symmetrical. You know, on the daily, especially. If you look at this on a smaller time frame, yeah, you're not going to see this very symmetrical movement to the upside. Very symmetrical. Now, could this be, you know, the cup and handle, the cup possibly forming the handle here? And if it does form a very nice handle, you know, that handle could really come down to, you know, possibly 250, 230,000, not thousand, I'm sorry, 230 Satoshis. But yeah, this pattern doesn't look too bad, and it's somewhat piqued my interest. And it's really because of this upward movement that we're having, how symmetrical that curve is. You know, it's not very choppy at all. So that, I don't know, this looks pretty good. I'll have to see exactly how this handle forms and see if this handle actually drops a little further. But yeah, that's interesting. 1138. 1138. Yeah, it's not looking too bad. Like I said, as long as it holds at 11, and it's holding at 11 very well, depending what time frame you're looking at, you know, those moving averages could be very important. And that's kind of where I would put my stop. And of course, as the chart moves up, And as the moving average moves up, then I would be moving up my sell or my stop loss. But yeah, still playing within that 50-day moving average. It's still above it, and the 50-day moving average is moving up. The price is moving up. Our smaller average on the 9-day has just basically crossed our 21-day moving average, and this is on the 30-minute chart. So, I mean, this is looking good. This is looking good. You know, that 1250 is in sight. So, Sidecoin used to be more efficient in mining, so it's not anymore. So, which one is efficient in mining then? Is it storage or is it Sidecoin? And as a disclaimer, I am mining, but I'm mining storage. But that's not really something I wanted to kind of talk about because that's not really what this channel is about. But if you guys are interested, I wouldn't mind covering it. NAV is what somebody wanted to look at. So I don't think I would ever buy storage, but if I have the ability to earn it, why not? I'm going to earn it, but I wouldn't put my hard-earned money into it. What was the other thing you were mining? Secure Zone? NAV is not looking too bad. I got to look at the 1 day and kind of have a better outlook on this. Whoa, did this thing just jump up or? Okay, I'm on a 1 day. Whew. The 1 day hadn't switched over, and I'm sitting there plotting things out, and I'm like, whoa, where'd this candlestick come from? All right, because it switched over to the 1 day. Definitely a big move. Definitely a big move. And I mean, I would not call this a pump and dump. I mean, it went up on the 26th of August. And it's basically stayed up. Yeah, it's going to correct. I mean, it's going to happen. I mean, look at this 1 day candlestick here. That's a huge price difference. Going from almost, what is that, 17,500 Satoshis all the way to 41,237,000 Satoshis. Or 41,237. That's crazy. That's a big push. But the nice thing about NAV, and I mean, I don't really know the details behind the NAV and this push behind it. I don't know if there's positive news that came out of it. But considering she didn't push back down to 19,000 is very healthy, and that's a sustained move on a positive catalyst, not a fake pump and dump. Now, if she would have come back down, she would have already retested the 19,000. She would have retested the 15,000. But no, this is looking pretty solid. Rebranding, is that what it is? So when did they announce the rebranding? I'm assuming down here, before it really took that big jump. Just be careful with rebranding. It seems like coins want to rebrand now to kind of push their price up. Really think about it outside the box. Unless the rebranding is going to really have some it's going to add some fundamentals to it, then yes. But just because they're rebranding and saying, oh, we're changing the name, yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know. Could people be buying without really thinking outside the box about this rebranding? No, but so far though, it's holding up very well, and it's held up, that 25,000 Satoshis very nicely. And that's kind of the support area right now. So, if I was interested in this, and because I believe that the branding or the rebranding is going to have some positive catalyst for it, then that 25,000, if it comes back down to it, I mean, it is a very choppy trade, to be honest with you. It's got a very big range from that 25,000 to where it is right now of 38,500. That's a big range. But yeah, for me to get in at this point, I mean, my risk would be a lot higher than my reward. I mean, that high was really 41,100 Satoshis. It's at 35,000 Satoshis. So the reward that I would really get if I was in this trade would only be 6,000 Satoshis. But the downside could be a lot more. So yeah, for me, it's not a good entry at this current price. 25,000 Satoshis, yes, it's a good entry, because then, the risk reward the reward is going to be a lot higher than the risk. So I would basically be risking, somewhere in the range of 3,000 to 4,000 Satoshis to right about here, to 23,000 Satoshis, to have a possible profit, from 25 to 40 of 15,000 Satoshis. So yeah, if she gets down to 25, then it would be somewhat beneficial based on what I would consider a very good risk reward. Sell the news. I don't know. It all depends when this rebranding is going to happen. And I mean, how far out did they really fluff it? But I'm assuming, I mean, it's really from when it started taking a jump, from that bare bottom of, 5,300 Satoshis. And that was not long ago. I mean, that was close to the end of August. August 23rd, August 24th, let's say August 25th. So that rebranding had to be somewhere around August 20, well, at least the announcement, August 24th, August 25th. Unless somebody knew of the announcement ahead of time, they had insider information. That's the only way that it would have gotten pushed up, before the crowd, before anybody else knew about it. So I guess it all depends when that news came out about rebranding. Yeah, definitely terrible spot to get in. I mean, I like the chart, how it looks, but yeah, if you're not already in this, I think you're too late to get in. Unless it has a nice pullback. That's kind of what I would wait for. But yeah, I mean, yeah, you could be asking for trouble, buying something at the high. But if you're already in this, yeah, that's awesome. I mean, congrats. OMG, OMG, OMG. So we see, we got about 29 people on this live stream, 13 likes. Come on, guys, pound that like button. Pound that like button. If you want me to stay on a little longer, pound that like button if you haven't done so already. And I will stay on a little longer. But 12 o'clock, I was going to end it. Maybe to see if I'll stay on a little longer to see if this makes a push up to past that 1188 or 1186. Dual mining ETH and Siacoin. Dude, that's good. I don't know if I said, I don't know which one is more profitable for you right now, but I would definitely focus on what's profitable. But in the long term, ETH is probably going to be the one that everybody should be mining. If they're looking for a longer term outlook on ETH. $19 likes. That's more like it. That's more like it. EOS, yes. We looked at EOS briefly. I don't know if you're just kind of joining late. But yeah, we'll take a look at it again briefly. I won't cover it heavily, but I already did earlier today. You got NAV at 0.003. That's great. 20% profit, dude. That's awesome. 20% is good. Actually, 20% is excellent. But yeah, 1141. So yeah, let's go ahead and cover EOS just briefly. Or was it IOTA that I covered? No, I covered EOS. I covered EOS. I don't know what time frame in the video, but I covered it. And when I talk about mining, I mean hardware mining. I don't trust these cloud mining. I mean, if you're really going to invest into it, and you have the money to do it, buy your own equipment and do it that way instead of buying the hash power. At least then you can sell the equipment. If it doesn't work out for you or it gets too expensive and you're not able to mine anything, then at least you can sell the equipment. You can't sell your hashing power back. Not a problem, dude. Not a problem at all. But yeah, no, I basically said earlier on this, I mean, this thing took a beating. It really took a beating down to 75 cents. And, I mean, for it to kind of, try to do what Ethereum is doing and creating tokens and then news out of China, yeah, it really beat it. So I would only use this as a trading vehicle. If you were able to get in, below 80 cents, and I mean, I didn't even see this thing running to $1.15. That was crazy. But yeah, that would have been a very significant profit, from 80 cents, 90 cents to $1.10, $1.15, if you were able to catch that top somehow, some way. But I wouldn't use this as an investment at all, unless this thing really gets to 50 cents. I mean, if it gets to 50 cents, that's really the low that it set when it first got listed, then yes. But this thing could easily bounce back down. So, I mean, if she does have a run, to that $1.05, which is a 200-day moving average, she's going to get pushed back down. And that's what she's showing us here. She got a little past the 200-day moving average. She ran a little too much, and she decided, you know what, I need to go back. I need to go back and retest that 100-day and retest that 50-day. And that's exactly where she is right now. She's basically, right at the 50, right at the 100, as well as right at the 21. So yeah, she's got a lot of movement to do, a lot. But I mean, if you're already holding it and you didn't already sell at the top, then I wouldn't be selling. I'm not selling sand. I'm still holding it. I had a high entry and I averaged down as much as I could. Now I could average down more. I just didn't have any capital left over to average down. But that 26, 27, 28 cents, under 30 cents, I mean, I would have loved to add on to that position and have a lower cost average. All right, OMG, OMG. Amisa, go. Let's go, go, go. 1152. Yeah, some of these are going to have little movements. Abbas, they definitely will. And I mean, if you're scalping it, that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. To take a 5-10 cent profit, or depending on the coin and depending on the type of movement that it makes, that's not bad. You wouldn't be able to do that with sand, because it doesn't move. I mean, you're lucky if it moves a half a cent. And that's not a good profit to be scalping at a half a cent, unless you're buying a couple 100,000 of them coins. All right, clear indication that this is going to be a very bullish, well, it's still bullish, but a very strong momentum push to the upside is going to be that 1186.5. So 1186.5 is going to be a crucial point for it. And if it can get above that, really that 1250 is in sight. It really is in sight. And really the all-time high that it set on here on Bitfinex was 1286. I'm sorry, 1268. Let's just say 1269. 1268.5, 1269. So 1269 is going to be an area that she's going to pull back from. She's going to have a pullback. And I do have and I'll share with you guys my sell orders. And I just went ahead and put a bunch in the book. But yeah, 1250, and then 15, 20, 25, 30. And that other one should have been 35. But yeah, 1250, I'm looking to sell a little bit. I'm not looking to sell a good chunk, but I'm looking to sell about 18, close to 19. And then start selling in increments of 25, basically, at every $5 intervals, if it makes that type of run. Yeah, dude, not a problem. Not a problem at all. I don't mind taking a look at a cryptocurrency, even if I covered it earlier. BCH 654. That's a nice move from that 470. That is a nice move. All right, buying and selling. I mean, especially the top, looks like the top 20, it's pretty even. 24,000 on the buy side, 28,000 on the sell side. That's close to being even. So not really too much pressure on the selling side, or even on the buying side, but it is making nice moves up to the upside. And as long as she can continue on this trend, where she's going to stay way above that 100-day moving average, and our 50-day is dipping below the 9 and 21, this is looking solid. Eco's not a problem, dude. Not a problem at all. I don't mind sharing that information. I've said before, I definitely want there to be transparency. And if there's no transparency, then why would you guys even trust me? So I have no problems at all showing my position. Or where I'm looking to get out. Now, that could easily change. Remember that. Just because I have that in the book doesn't mean that that's what I'm sticking to. That could easily change. And sometimes you kind of have to change your strategy, to be honest with you. I mean, if this thing goes parabolic and just starts shooting up and breaks above that 1250 and heads up to 15 within a matter of, a couple candlesticks, believe me, I'm going to be looking to lock in more than just the 25. Because that's just too big of a move within a very short period of time, and it's going to come back down and basically hit consolidate or correct back down to that 1250 where it broke out from. So why would I not want to sell, lock in a bigger profit, and then use the profit and the capital to buy back in at that 1250? So that could easily change. I'm trying to see if I can spot out any patterns on this. I mean, we got a W, and it did have a breakdown when it really touched a W, but not too much of a breakdown. And there's our W right there, and it got rejected right close to that high. But the rejection was not bad. I mean, it was basically getting just a little below, and this is on a 15-minute chart, getting a little below our 50-day moving average. Yeah, 15 minutes, I'm really not liking that candlestick there, the long-legged doji. So this is basically a long-legged doji. And on a long-legged doji, there's either a short-legged doji, long-legged doji, or just doji. And I highly recommend Googling them and just really researching what a doji can indicate. So basically a doji indicates that there's uncertainty, there's basically indecision that's going on between buyers and sellers. And I've seen it from that point where it does really have a nice run because the bulls end up outweighing the bears. But there is indecision that's happening until that decision is reached. It could be stagnant or it could take a drop. So, I mean, it could indicate a couple different things. Yeah, and especially if you see that close to the top. And I mean, we're not seeing it close to the top, so that's why I'm not really too worried about it too much. But I mean, if we see that at 1250, then yeah, it's time to lock in a good amount of the profit because there is a lot of indecision that's going on right now. Let's look at the 5 minutes and see what if that long-legged doji shows up. Not quite a full doji, considering there is actually body to the candlestick. So I wouldn't consider that a long-legged doji. And in order for it to be really a doji, the closing price and the opening price have to be identical. They have to be identical. And on the 15 minutes, I didn't really look at the price point, but they should be very identical. Let's see. Closing price was opening price was 11,404. Closing price was 11,400. So it was really off by that 0.004 to be a true long-legged doji. And that can really make a big difference. Even though it's very small amount, that can make a big difference in how the decision might, or how really the outcome might happen based on this, what I thought was a long-legged doji. But yeah, the closing price, I mean, even though it's very similar, yeah, there's still indecision that's happening, but that indecision hasn't really been completely reached. And as we can see right now, it's still holding pretty well on this current candlestick on the 15-minute chart. It is above its opening price. I mean, its opening price was 1137, high 1157, low 1137. So the low and the opening are exactly identical. So it hasn't really breached below the opening price currently yet. And that's usually the magic word. But on a long-legged doji, you could see 3 to 4 candlesticks, depending on what time frame you're looking at, especially on a smaller time frame, where they do have a nice breakout for 3 to 4 candlesticks, and then they decide to turn back around. And it's not 100%. It's just patterns that you can kind of see. And if you see them over and over again, they tend to kind of replicate the same thing. So that's why it's important to kind of look at all different time frames and see if you spot out any type of these candlesticks that really will tell you if there is indecision or if that price movement is very bloated. Andrea, why are some candlesticks color filled in and others are not? It all depends how you customize it. I shouldn't have any green filled in. Now you gotta remember, yeah, mine are completely customized differently. But yeah, you shouldn't see any green candles where they're full colored. Shouldn't. Now the red will be fully colored, yes. Oh, here it is, yeah. That's a good question. That's a very good question. I'm not going to BS you and give you some answer. I have no clue. I never really paid attention to that. That's interesting. That is very interesting. I never picked that out at all. I'm going to have to research that a little bit. $11.60 needs to get up to that $11.86. $11.86 is a crucial moment, not for a breakout, but just to see a nice push to that 12 and change. $11.60 might be an area of resistance for it. No, not a big seller. Not a big seller at that $11.60. Henrique, yeah, I mean, I was going to say that, but I mean, it doesn't have to be colored in order to determine what the opening price and the closing price is. So, I mean, if we really look at any candlestick, it doesn't matter which one it is. We'll take a look at this green one right here. I mean, we know that the high on this green candlestick is, 11.79. The low is somewhere in the range of 11.54. The opening price is the low of the full body candle, which is about 11.63. And then the closing price is 11.72. Like, it doesn't have to be colored to kind of determine the opening price as well as the closing price. So that's a little confusing for me. Like, I was thinking that, but I was like, I can just look at the chart and say, okay, this is the high, this is the low, this is where it opened, this is where it closed. And I mean, and then if I really put the cursor right on the candlestick at the top, it tells me, the O is for the opening price, the H is for the high, the L is for the low, and the C is for the close. But why some of them are hollow and some of them are not doesn't really indicate the difference between the opening and the closing of the price. Because really, if it closes lower than the opening price, the candlestick is instantly red. It starts to turn red. Soon as that crosses down from where it opened, it turns red. If it crosses up from where it opened, the candlestick is green for that moment. Henri, not a problem, man. Thank you for joining, bud. Thank you for joining. Hopefully you get that that server fixed. Happy trading indeed. Yes. All right, 1179, 1179. I will stay on this. You guys pounding that like button? Pound that like button. 1186, or let's just say 87. 1187. I would like to see that 1187 get broken out with a vengeance. If it doesn't break out with a vengeance, then yeah, we're gonna have a retracement. Now we're going to have a retracement where this is going to form a cup and handle. I don't know. Let's see. Let's zoom out and see if we can actually find a symmetrical cup. I think we got to zoom in. Yeah, possibly. I just don't like how choppy it is right in the middle of the cup. I don't like that choppiness. It could be choppy down here, but at the top, it should have been somewhat symmetrical, a nice curve to it. So I don't think it's going to form a handle at that 1186, 1187 range. Yeah, it's too choppy to be a very nice symmetrical cup and handle. Let's see that 1187. No resistance. No resistance at that 1187, which is great. It is great. 12 bucks, 10,000 coins. There's 90, 90 sellers. Now they could be stacking. They could be stacking their trades at that specific price to kind of shake out the weak hands. But yeah, that could be misleading too. So be careful of that. When you have very small amount that's being sold and a lot of sellers stacked up, that could tell me that, one person could be sitting there and just stacking up. I'm going to sell 3 coins at that specific price, but just put in tons of orders for 3 coins. So then that kind of would be a little misleading with the head count of the sellers, because that doesn't really kind of reflect the amount of coins. There should at least be, if there's 90 sellers, there should be 100,000 coins for sale at that specific price. So somebody's figuring out, hey, you know what? Let me put a bunch of orders at that specific price, very small orders, so that gets the count to go up, and maybe it'll shake people out. I'll get out, and then I'll be able to buy back in a little cheaper on the downtrend. What did she get to? Did she breach 1186, 1179 and a half? 1186, 1187 is what it has to break. Very healthy, very healthy. But I would still like to see that 200-day moving average, or at least the 100-day moving average, start to crawl up above that 200. Everything's in line, for a possible parabolic break. I think this is the 200-day moving average is preventing it from having a clean break above that 1186, 1187. But as a 200-day or as a 100-day moving average starts to crawl up and really get above that 200, then we should see hopefully a nice parabolic move. But yeah, those just aren't aligned properly yet. It's missing one piece of the puzzle. And that's on the 5-minute chart with that moving average. You guys are quiet in the chat. I feel like I'm talking to myself. Yeah, it's not that far from a clean break. It is not that far. And really, there's nobody holding it down, with a very sizable position. I mean, we got 10 people at 1193 for 37,000 coins. That's a little over 3,000 a piece per person, possibly. You like the OMG talk? Oh, that's good, man. Hopefully you have a position in this. Thank you, Ekers. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. And usually, if I'm not doing a live stream, if I'm just sitting there really, focusing on trading, I'll have different time frames of whatever I'm trading. So, I don't have to keep sitting there and keep bouncing back and forth between the 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 5 minutes. I usually already have those up, especially if I'm in a trade. If I'm not in a trade, then I'll have different cryptocurrency up on per website that I have up. But right now, since I am live streaming, it's only on one. I think I need to put them up on my other monitor. And Bitfinex wants to act up a little bit. Yeah, so what'd you find out about the candle? Yeah, it doesn't seem like it wants to load the 5 and 15-minute chart for some apparent reason. So far, OMG is the biggest winner behind BCH. Or I'm sorry, ahead of BCH. Yeah, I think I have way too many things running on this computer. And that's just basically what's slowing it down. All right, so that 100-day move, the 50-day moving average is hovering right, especially on the 15-minute chart, right at that $11. That's kind of a level that it has to maintain. I just don't like the fact that the 200-day moving average is at 980. I don't like the fact of that. That needs to be at least some way midpoint, so right around the 1020, 1040-ish. That's really where that should be. All right, on the 5-minute, things might be starting to align properly. I mean, it's going to take a couple candlesticks, a couple price action movement to possibly see this set up, but our 50 has crossed above our 100. I'm sorry, our above the 200, which is good. So we definitely want to see the 9, the 21, the 50, and then definitely the 100 and 200. So that 100-day moving average is lagging pretty bad on the 5 minutes and 15 minutes. OMG, sell a hold. I don't know what your entry was. I'm holding. 1250 is attainable. And that's where I'm going to be basically taking my first profit is at that 1250 level. And then if it breaks out, that's great. I still have more. If it breaks down, and ends up retesting the $10 level, then I can add a little bit more. Yeah, speaking of the charts, when you're running too many, oh man, it eats up so much RAM. It definitely makes it's a workhorse. I mean, you got to have a computer that's a workhorse. If you're going to be having tons of charts up, and I don't even have, more than I would normally have. I mean, this live stream definitely eats up a good amount, but if I wasn't live streaming, then yeah, I definitely have a lot of charts up, and yeah, you can definitely tell the computer is working hard. So Greenfield, let's see, close smaller than open and close bigger than prior open. Hollow green closed smaller than open and closed bigger than prior open. Redfield closed bigger than open and closed smaller than close. Yeah, that's too much. That is too much for me to try to figure out. I mean, you basically have an idea of where the opening, the closing price is. What was the high, what was the low. But yeah, don't overcomplicate it with that, to be honest with you. Because really on this candlestick here, which we kind of have a hammer at the top, I don't know. We'll see how this price action reacts to it, but that might not be a good sign. But yeah, the opening price was 1179.5. The high was 1179.5. The low was 1162. The high was 1174. So the opening and the high were the same. So close smaller than open and close. Did it close? It closed at 1174, so it closed lower than the open. But yeah, that's too much to kind of think about. Really with candlesticks, know that the top is the open. I'm sorry, the top is the high, the bottom is the low. And then if there is a full body candle inside of it, then you know that the top full body is the opening. I'm sorry, is the closing price, and the bottom of the full candle is the opening price. That's really all you need to know. Yeah, it's way too much, way too much. Yeah, definitely. I mean, as a new trader, try to simplify it. But like I said, I mean, later on down the road, as you master some of these little basic things, then yeah, build upon it. Build upon it. But yeah, I think whether it feels green or it's hollow, that should not even be a concern, even after you really get good at trading and reading patterns and things like that. But yeah, I mean, just try to study what some of these candles will tell you. Now, I don't know what every candle will tell you, and every candle has a crazy name to it. And some of these names are crazy. And as you guys know, I mean, they have Japanese names because basically candlesticks were created by a Japanese person. So, you have like Harami, you have, Doji, shooting star, inverted hammer. But yeah, some of them will have a Japanese name to them. Already forgot about it. Yeah, dude. I wouldn't even think about it too much. Out of sight, out of mind. And I never really even thought about it, to be honest with you. So you just mentioned it. I'm like, I wonder what that actually means. So 1171, I mean, it's having a hard time breaking above that 1186, and that's just not a good sign, to be honest with you. If she was going to break it above that, she would have broke above it with a vengeance already, and she's not. So she's going to have a pullback. It's just a matter of, where's that pullback gonna settle down at? Is it going to settle at 1120? Just on the 5-minute, right above that, right above the 50 and 100-day moving average, or on a larger time frame? Is it going to settle directly at that $11, which that $11 is the 50-day moving average? So yeah, so when it's breaking any type of key levels, it doesn't really matter what cryptocurrency you're looking at, and you have these key levels already plotted out, and it's having a hard time breaking them, there's a possibility that it's going to have a downtrend from there. Now, if you have a clear indication of a momentum run, it has to break it with a vengeance. The volume's got to pour in. Even though the volume is good, it wasn't enough to completely break through it. Patrick, great to see you, buddy. Hello and welcome. What do I think about Omisa Go? I mean, I'm in the trade. I like it. I don't think they're affected, with the ruling of ICO bans in China. And it's got a lot of things in the work. I mean, a lot of things. I mean, hopefully they can unbank or hopefully they can bank the unbanked. And with all these payment processing and really, having to deal with McDonald's in China, I mean, it's big. It's really big, and it can do wonders. It has the ability to. And I think it's got a great development team, and it's got the back end of, the one and only Vitalik Buterin. So yeah, I mean, only good things could happen with Omisa Go. And I think, if bad things were going to happen, this thing would have tanked more I mean, it only got down to 730. Yeah, from 1250 to 730. Yeah, I mean, it's a nice correction, but it came right back up. It came back up as though nothing ever happened. So that really tells you that a lot of people do believe in this project. If they didn't believe in this project, then it would have still been stuck in that $850 range. But yeah, this is making a nice comeback. It really is. Can I repeat that? I don't know on what. I've said a lot of things. I've said a lot of things, Oscar. So I don't know what part you want me to repeat. But I mean, just and if you're trying to find out any information about, I'm sure a lot of you guys already know this, but go to CoinMarketCap, find the ticker, whatever the ticker is. So OMG. I don't know. Every time I put in the ticker, it doesn't want to find it, but let's see. Nope, that's not what I wanted. That would be nice, man. And I think, they're going to work towards that, but I think it's going to take a little while to do that. It's going to take a while. It's not something that they're going to be able to do within a matter of, a couple months. But over the long period of time, I mean, this would be a solid long-term growth, long-term hold. And I do plan on buying some more for a long-term hold, but I want to be able to capture some of this price action movement and then kind of buy back on the dip. So that's really the only way I'm trading it. But yeah, I would definitely hold this long-term. And I might hold, just maybe 50 long-term out of what I have. But yeah, unbanked to banked with Ethereum. Let's see. I forget some of the stuff that they had on here. But I mean, having an advisory board of some well-known people, it does a lot. It does a lot. And maybe, having Vitalik, be part as an advisor could do well for it. Roger Revere, I didn't know he was on there. I did not know he was on there. So if he's on there, this thing could get pumped. This thing could get pumped. I would love to know what his holding is on some of this cryptocurrency. And if you guys have a way of finding out, because a lot of these, cryptocurrencies can have that billionaire type of move. And when I mean billionaire type of move, in the sense that, when billionaires or, multi-millionaires decide to get involved, they can have that billionaire type of move. And it's basically where something just goes parabolic, goes crazy, because you got billionaires or multi-millionaires putting tons of money into it. And in the stock market, you can find out exactly, some of these billionaire investors, what they're investing in. You can kind of find out exactly, what percentage of their core holding are they holding in this stock. And a lot of people will kind of mirror that trade. But yeah, I wonder if that exists in the cryptocurrency market. And hopefully SAN can get something, to that extent rolled out, being able to provide that information of what billionaires are being involved in what cryptocurrency. The candle part, let's see. I said a couple things about a candle part. Basically, kind of reading where the high and the low is, and that's kind of, basic candlestick chart reading. Let's find a good candlestick. So basically on a candlestick, you should know just by looking at it where the high was, where the low was, what the opening price and what the closing price is. So, when you have a longer wick, it just means that the bears decided to pull the price back down, especially if you have a longer wick at the top. So really the price point on this candlestick, the opening price was $11. I'm sorry, $10.39. $10.39 is always going to be the bottom of the full body of the candlestick. So the candlestick has a body and it has a wick. So the bottom of the full body, that's the opening price. Now, at some point, I wasn't following this specific candlestick, so I don't know the directions that it moved up in the beginning, but there was a possibility that, it opened up at 11.39 and it dipped below that 11.39 opening price. And as soon as it dips below that 11.39 opening price, that candlestick is instantly red right away. So, there's a possibility there where the bears kind of took this down to the low. The low of that candlestick was $10.82, which is the bottom of the wick. Now the bears decided to, you know what, we're going to support this thing. I'm sorry, the bulls decided we're going to support this thing. We're going to bring it up. And they brought this thing up, and they brought it up, and they brought it up. But I mean, at some point within this candlestick, you know, it rose up and it dropped. It rose up and it dropped. And so if you're watching a candlestick and you're watching it live, you know, you can see these type of movements happen up and down, up and down. And then the bulls decided to take this thing up to the high. And that high was $11.05, which is the top of the wick. Now the closing price on a green candlestick is going to be the top of the full body. So the top of the full body there is the closing price of that candlestick. And then you kind of want to look at the other candlesticks and see where they open up in comparison to the previous candlestick. And it's always somewhat bullish if they open up either above or at the previous candlestick's closing price. You don't want it to open below the previous candle's closing price, and that would indicate that there's a bearish type of pattern move. So hopefully, Oscar, that was clear the way I explained that to you. Yes, we are in September, and 5K. I mean, I wouldn't be. I mean, 8,000 could be attainable by end of year. You know, so I mean, when people were talking about, you know, 10,000 back in January, February, you know, a lot of us were probably like 10,000. I mean, this thing's having a hard time breaking 1,000. You're talking about 10,000. Like, we got to get baby steps. You know, we got to work our way up there, but it definitely has been working its way up there. So yeah, 5,000. I mean, and to be honest with you, in my opinion, in my eyes, it already hit 5,000. You know, what did it get to? $5,980. You know, $20 shy of 5,000. It might as well, in my eyes, it's 5,000. You know, it already reached that level. But yeah, I mean, 8,000 could easily be attainable. Easily be attainable. As long as there isn't crazy FUD that's being spread that cause a, you know, a $1,000 drop on Bitfinex, going from 49.70 all the way down to 3,900 bucks. You know, over $1,000 drop. So as long as we don't see those type of drops, and those type of drops are not being sustained. Now, if they come right back up to the level or close to the level that it was, yeah, it's a healthy, you know, movement. But, you know, let's just say hypothetically, I mean, she dropped to 3,900, which she did, and then she only went up to 4,100 and just kind of consolidated at that 4,100. I'd be a little scared. I would be very scared that she didn't make it back up to close to where she was. And for it to be at 4,600 right now, 4,550, and I'm sure on GDAX it's a little higher. Let's see. GDAX 46.36, but I mean, on GDAX it didn't get that low. It didn't even break 4,200 bucks on GDAX. But on Bitfinex it hit 3,900. And it's at 45.90 now. It might as well be 46. So it's made it back up very close to its all-time high of that 49.70-ish. So yeah, that's a healthy move. But yeah, if she would have stayed at 4,000, 4,100 bucks, I would have been a little scared. I would have been a little leery, because that's not Bitcoin at all. Because then really another drop is imminent, and another, you know, $800 drop could easily happen to really bring it down 100 bucks. But yeah. So, I mean, it's healthy, and I'm glad it's back up to where it was. I mean, it was basically, you know, I mean, like I said, I mean, China threw a right hook or a left hook, and it got down a little bit and then got back up. And I was like, well, is that all you got? I'm going right back up to where I came from. And that's exactly what she's doing. And that's what a lot of these popular cryptocurrencies are doing. Wish we could see more correction, BTC. I don't know if we will. You know, that was a nice correction to 3,900 bucks. That was a nice correction. And I know some of you guys caught it at 4,000. That was a nice correction. But yeah, I mean, we could have a massive correction. And I think there would have to be a domino effect. You know, for it to get down to 3,000, 3,100 bucks, 3,200 bucks, it would have to be a domino effect, you know, $1,000 drop, you know, and then move sideways, and then having another crazy $800 drop. But we're not seeing that at all. You know, we're seeing these drops happen, but then they're coming right back up with a vengeance and going up $700 from that low. So 6,800 by this month. Oof. I mean, it's early month, but yeah, I mean, that's 1,300 bucks from its current. Well, actually, no, I'm sorry, it's 2,300 bucks. Or is that, yeah, 2,300 bucks from its current price now. So that's or 2,200. That's a lot. That's a lot. I mean, 50% growth. It could do it. It could easily do it. But yeah, man, 8,000 end of the year could easily be attainable for it, easily. At this point, you would bet a massive sell-off. Man, I think we had a overall cryptocurrency massive sell-off, not just one cryptocurrency, but overall, it really took a chunk out of the market cap. But it's coming right back up though. But yeah, I mean, are we going to have a correction if it does decide to touch 5,000, or is it going to break out above that 5,000 like it broke out above the 4? Like, I mean, when it was stuck at the 4 just for a couple seconds or a couple of minutes, because there was a hidden order going on GDAX where it prevented it from really cracking that 4,000. And then once that seller got out of the way, I mean, it exploded past it. So we'll see exactly, once she touches 5,000, which is a very good psychological level. Is FOMO going to kick in? Is mass media going to start covering it again? And then as it starts to dip, profit taking happen. People panicking and selling because they bought at 5,000, or they bought at 5,500 or 5,600. So I don't know. I mean, it's interesting to watch BTC. It really is. 1161. All right, 1158. So we are getting a little bit of a downtrend on the 15 minutes. But yeah, it didn't break out of that 1186 with a vengeance. So, as long as she if she consolidates within this range, yes, she could have a nice push up. But if she doesn't, she could pull back and test that $11. A little over 11 is a 200-day moving average. And that seems, especially from what time was this? From 7 a.m., 6:45, that's kind of the channel that she likes to follow. She likes to follow the moving average of the 100-day. And that's exactly, a couple times, getting close to it and bumping up. But yeah, not breaking below it though. So, that 11 is going to be very crucial. And if she breaks 11, there should be a good amount of support. If some traders, which majority of the traders do look at the 50, 100, and 200-day moving average, it could have a nice push up from it. But it could get to that level. Could. What is the one thing you learned from the candle, Oscar? I'm not sure what it was. But yeah, I got about a couple more minutes, and then I definitely have to get off this live stream. But I appreciate you hanging out and staying with me. 25 likes, 25 people watching. That is sweet. Thank you guys so much. But yeah, I was waiting to kind of see if we get a nice break above that 1187. That's really what I was waiting for on this live stream. But yeah, she didn't break out of it with a vengeance. And that just kind of tells me that she's going to be somewhat stagnant until somebody comes in and says, you know what, I'm purchasing this, and boom. Actually, before I do get off, I wanted to show you one thing, and I don't know why I ended up looking at it, but it was just the craziest thing, and that was on Bitcoin Core, BTC. Oh, Patrick, I think the answer to that, what the market cap could do for cryptocurrencies in a year or two, easily, what you just said. I mean, this market's not going to go anywhere. It's going to have corrections, of course, but this market cap will steadily continue to grow. It will, and any of the, ICOs that are, breaking up and falling apart, the market cap that's being taken away from them is going to be very minimal. I mean, the top three are already dominating. 120 billion market cap. And I think, at that time, total market cap was 158 billion. So some of these coins that are going to die off, they're not going to really take too much out of that market cap. And the dominating coins will absorb a lot of that. So yeah, I could easily see this thing, 200 billion market cap, which we still got to remember though, 200 billion, Patrick, is not a lot for a whole market. Yes, it's a lot of money. Of course it is. But yeah, so don't think I'm saying that $200 billion is not a lot of money. It's definitely a lot of money. But for an overall market, it's not a lot of money. So, we got to remember that there are single entities, single companies out there that are worth more than $200 billion. So, yeah, it's still a very thin market, and it has the potential to grow. It's very young. It's very young. I mean, Bitcoin is a little over 8 years old, so, but, if you really just kind of take Bitcoin out of the equation, of how old Bitcoin is, this market's not that old at all. It's really not. So BTC, was this what I was looking at? I think we got to zoom out of this. I mean, this thing blew up. Somebody had fat fingers in this. And I don't know why it's not showing me what I saw. And I was looking at it on my phone and I was like, did this really happen? But they're not showing it on this chart for some apparent reason. I got to look at it on my phone again, unless it was a glitch. But I saw within a 1 minute candlestick, this thing go from 4,000 all the way up to 6,800 on 24 coins. And I was like, this is crazy. I'm like, somebody fat fingered this thing thinking, you know what, I'm going to buy it at 400 and I'm going to click on buy, not knowing exactly when you hit market buy, what that actually does to the price. And they probably thought, you know, I'm going to purchase it at 4,000. I'm going to purchase whatever 10. And this thing ends up, you know, taking off because he's basically taking the order book with him on the way up. So if that person thought they were buying 10, they definitely didn't buy 10 because they were paying high price for it. But let me look at it on my phone real quick, because I didn't look at it on the computer when I looked at it on the app. But the app indicated that it went up to 6,800 bucks, but it's not indicating that at all now. When would I expect to crash? I don't know, dude. I don't have the magic ball. All right, so on my phone, on the app for Bitfinex, and this was on the 29th of August, this thing went from 3,900 to 6,822. I don't know why it's not reflecting on the actual, on the chart here, but it's reflected on the actual app when I'm looking at the chart. And there were only about, 34 coins were traded, but it took the price from 3,900. The opening price was 3,900. The low was 3,900. The high was 6,822, and then the closing price was 4,000. So it went up and came right back down. I mean, that's just crazy. It went up $3,000 within a matter of, I think it was a minute. But yeah, I didn't know if my eyes were playing tricks on me, but they might be playing tricks on me now that it's actually not reflected on here. And that was on the 29th, which was right here. So no indication at all on this chart that it went up. But yeah, but if you download the Bitfinex app, the iOS app, and then you look at the chart, you will actually see that on the chart that it went from. And you can look at probably like the 5 minutes. Let me zoom out of here, make sure I can see it on the 5 minutes. Yeah, since this is very thinly traded, you're probably not going to see it on the 5 minutes. But on the 30 minutes, you can definitely see it. But yeah, I thought that was a crazy move. But yes, it's not being reflected though on the actual chart. It's just being reflected on the app. But yeah, 3,900 bucks to 6,800. That's definitely a pump and dump. But you know, somebody, like I said, fat fingered it, just didn't know what they were doing. And you know, some rich kid had money and he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna buy some BTC, which is, you know, Bitcoin Cash, and it's at 4,000. I'm gonna buy this now," not knowing that it's not Bitcoin Cash, that is something else, and hit that market buy button. Yeah, Luke. Ah, man. Luke Adam, welcome, buddy. Welcome. It's been a long time. Let me get to the other questions first. $6,800. So that so that could have been an omen of BTC, you know, Bitcoin Core going up to 6,800 bucks. That could have been an omen. So you might be right about that. And you actually mentioned that 6,800 before I even talked about BTC or Bitcoin Core going up to that 6,800 bucks. So that could be an omen. Luke, thanks so much for that comment, man. I appreciate it. But yeah, I'm gonna get to your question down at the bottom. Ekers, thank you so much. What is a lot of money? When would you expect to crash? Dude, like I said, I mean, 200 billion is a lot of money, but it's not a lot of money for a huge market. You know, $1 trillion is still very small for a whole market. I mean, Apple is $1 trillion market cap, basically. I think Amazon is somewhere in that range. You know, 100 trillion, now that's a market. It's still a very thin market in comparison to other markets, but 100 billion, yes. You know, this whole market, this whole cryptocurrency market should definitely be a lot more than one single entity, what the market cap is for that. And I need to research Amazon and see what the market cap for Amazon is, as well as Google, the two stocks for Google's that are out. But I think Apple is nearing 1 trillion. So it's got to be ahead of a single company, probably the most, you know, the most expensive company that's out there, whether it's Google, Amazon, or it's Apple. But yeah, 100 trillion. Now we got a market. Now we got a market that is not very thinly traded. What are your thoughts on trading based off market depth? Yeah, it could be misleading, and I think somebody said that, but I didn't get to their comment yet. But they're absolutely right. I think that was Luke. I mean, trading specifically alone on order book could be misleading, and I said that to somebody on our general chat. And I was like, you got to be very careful. I mean, you can layer, you can spoof your orders, you know, you can stack your orders, and I mean, if I look at, you know, there's 10,000 coins that are being sold, but there's 90 sellers. It's like, all right, you know, I can sit there and put tons of orders in for one coin at that specific price. So, you know, you really got to think outside the box when you see these things. But yeah, even trading the market depth, because really the market depth is really taking the information from the order book and just putting it up on a chart for you, on a nice, easy to read market depth chart. That's all it's doing. So yeah, so the order book can be misleading, which then, of course, the depth chart is going to be misleading. Yeah, there's a lot of manipulation that goes on. So a lot of manipulation. So yeah, here's Luke's comment. Yeah, plenty of people keep money off the books, so market depth can be misleading. You made bad trades with that method. Yeah, I think, you know, it's misled a lot of us. The order book can mislead a lot of us, which the depth chart comes from the order book. So yeah, you got to be very careful with that. You got to be careful with hidden orders. You know, and I've said this before too. So I mean, if somebody has a big, large buy order or a big sell order, more than likely it's a fake order. You know, if I was to put in a very large buy order on any cryptocurrency, I don't want the masses to know about that order. I don't, because more than likely, you know, I'm going to have everybody hopping in front of me to get their order executed. If I was really looking to get in. Now, if I'm not looking to get in, I don't really care if you're hopping in front of me and causing the price to go up, because that's really what I want you to do. I already have a position, so I'm going to show you a big hand. It's a fake hand, of course, and you're going to look at it and be like, whoa. Somebody's buying a shitload of this coin at this price. I'm buying this now. I'm going to get in ahead of this person. And I'm sitting there looking at it and being like, yeah, you guys are buying this. This is great. You're causing the price to go up. I have no intentions of buying. So if you see a large order, think outside the box. You know, if that was you, you know, either putting in a large order on the buy side or putting in a large order on the sell side, would you want the masses to know about that order? The answer is no. I would not want you guys to know about that order. I'm trying to get out of this position. I want to get out. You know, if you guys are getting out before me because you see my large order and you know that that's going to tank the price, you know, why would I show that hand to you? And same thing if I'm looking to get in. If I believe in something and I'm looking to buy a shitload of this coin, I don't want you to jump ahead of me and buy that coin because I firmly believe in it and I want to get in at that price. I'm going to hide that order from you. So think outside the box with that, completely outside the box. When did LTC hit 80? Oh, dude, it hit 98. 98 bucks, a little over 98 bucks on Coinbase. Yeah, it should have touched 100. Let's see what Patrick is saying. Taking, let's say, $1,000 and just buying 10 different favorite coins can't go wrong. No, you can't. That's very diversified. 100 bucks per coin. If that one coin decides to go down, so what? That's 100 bucks you put into it. You know, that's a great strategy, Luke. I'm sorry, Patrick. And I briefly touched up on that, you know, because we looked at Siacoin and we looked at, I don't know, there's another coin that got beat down. I was like, you know, this isn't a bad opportunity to kind of build a portfolio for a long-term hold. I mean, this cryptocurrency has gotten beat down. To add that to your portfolio, throw 100 bucks at it. I mean, it's $100 is nothing. You know, a lot of us will probably go out and spend $100, you know, very easily. So to throw $100 onto something that you're going to hold long term, and if it does go down, let's just say hypothetically you put $100 into it and it goes down 20%. Somebody might look at it and be like, dude, you lost 20%. No, in actuality, you only lost $20. It's $20. It's not much. But now if you put $1,000 into it and it goes down 20%, now you're down $200. Now that becomes significant. But yeah, Luke, sorry, Patrick, great strategy, dude. $1,000. Pick 10 coins, your favorite coins that you like, not just crap coins, you know, and things that have been kind of beat down, and have a diversified portfolio of 10 coins that you put $1,000 into, or $100 per coin into. Bradley, welcome. The Dubai review 78.95. Was that for LTC? I'm assuming right now. Yeah, 79.50. But yeah, LTC on not on Bitfinex, but on GDAX, it did touch that high. Well, not touch that high. It broke through the previous high of 57 and completely shattered it to $98. But yeah, on Bitfinex, yeah, it only got right up to 93.50-ish, something to that extent. And it gave back a lot. I mean, it really did give back a lot from that 93, 90, let's just say 94, all the way down to 62, 61. You know, that's a good amount that it gave up. Wow, Luke, you're in 50 coins. That's a lot to manage. That's a lot to manage. For me, it's a lot to manage. But I mean, for you, it might be easy. And that's awesome. That's extremely, extremely, extremely diversified. But yeah, it's going to be hard to catch some of the ones that are being pumped. You know, I mean, especially if you're in a coin that's being pumped, you might miss that pump unless you have a strategy where you have scattered out, you know, sell orders, and not to sell everything at once, but to start selling increments, you know, as it starts going up, and having that in the order book. So if you're not sitting there and following, because 50 is a lot to follow, that you are going to possibly have, you know, some of these coins executed if it gets up to that price level. Yeah, Luke, I remember you telling me that story. Yeah, $80 in DGB turned into 1,000. I remember that. Woo, 150. Dude, that's a lot of coins. I mean, I think there's only a total of how many coins in circulation? Well, I shouldn't say total coins in circulation, but there's 868 currencies, 868 coins, and you got 150. Wow. That's a lot to manage. A lot. Not a problem, man. Thank you for joining, Andrea. Thank you for joining. Yeah, you're always on the stream, man, and I appreciate it. Time to go out for some pint. Dude, have one for me. Have one for me, bud. Yeah, it's 1 p.m. where I'm at, so I'm going to have to get off this live stream. But thank you, guys. Let's see. What are the best alert apps for phones? You know, I don't use any alert apps, but I'm sure you guys do know of some alert apps. I've heard of some of them that were in beta, but I haven't used them yet. But I don't know if it was Luke or Patrick that had mentioned a couple a while back. Dubai review 240 and OMG turned into 4,500. Oh man, so you were buying it low. You were buying it low. I mean, I was trying to get into OMG at like 1, and I was pissed off I couldn't get the 1. You know, like I didn't want to buy it at 1 until it finally broke out. Once I saw the break, I was like, okay, I'll wait for it to come back to 1. I was like 110, and I got too greedy. You know, I didn't buy it at 1, and then I was like, oof. Looking at it back now, it's like, man, a 12x return, that would have been nice. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining. I do appreciate this. Unfortunately, I got to end this live stream, but I enjoyed going a little longer than normally. But yeah, thank you so much for you know, joining me on this Wednesday or Thursday, whatever it is for you. It is always a pleasure to have you here, and for you guys to be very interactive, and for me to try to be as interactive as I can. And if you're a new time viewer, thank you for finding us. You know, it's a pleasure to have you here, but don't forget to click on that subscribe button as well as the post notification, and stay connected with us, to really anybody, not just the new time viewers, but stay connected with us on Steemit, Twitter, as well as Facebook. And as majority of you know, CryptoTraders Room is a place where we eat, drink, sleep, dream, trade, and invest in digital currencies. I want everybody to kind of enjoy their day until Friday. This is Crypto Trader in Crypto Traders Room. Enjoy your day. Be safe with your trades, and happy trading.